Hey, honey?
Yeah, what's up?
Hey everybody, I'm Fen, and this is Retro Review, a review show where we go through my copious amounts of gaming books, magazines, and other paraphernalia for role-playing games and tabletop mini-games. They're out of print, one at a time, and yeah, to keep me from rambling, we have Laura.
Hey everybody, to keep us on track, I'm going to ask a list of questions.
Alright.
So what are we reviewing tonight?
Tonight we got Dragon Magazine number 174. This is themed around the Ravenloft campaign setting, which was D&D's take on the classic horror movies. So you had Count von Strahd as the big vampire bad guy. There was a mummy guy. There was a Death Knight paladin, anti-paladin.
Hence they're in a graveyard with a creepy looking ghoul.
Yeah, so it's all ghouls and creepy monsters.
Okay. And I'm going to guess that this magazine came from Eagle Hill and Prescott.
Yeah, Eagle Hill Stamps and Coins. My teen and through to my early 30s stomping ground for all things nerdy. Star Wars, Magic, D&D. So.
Okay, do you want to give us a quick synopsis of the articles inside?
Alright, so the first one is entitled, Are You Having Bad Thoughts? It's so the plane of Ravenloft changes a lot of the rules for spellcasters, both arcane and divine, but it also warps with psychic mental powers. So there was some changes made to the powers the same way. Like some of the powers don't really work as well, especially like ones that are more effective against the undead to make the undead more powerful in the setting. So just notes on how you have to adjust psychic powers, but I never played a lot with the psionic powers because, well, they kind of broke the game a bit, so I kind of ignored a lot of that stuff whenever I ran games. Next up is Sage Advice. That is the frequently asked questions column that they have in the in Dragon Magazine. This one says no flying carpets don't work underwater. You can't spread a portable hole on someone's back because it needs to be a flat, non-living surface, and flying carpets don't work on water. So,
Yeah, it'll get wet.
yeah. Plus, like hoverboards never worked on water in Back to the Future, so. Yeah.
It's true, too.
Floating stuff doesn't work underwater. Next is Out of the Mist.
Unless it's like actually a water device for floating.
Yeah, so it'd be more like a surfboard, magic surfboard. Out of the Mist. So one of the things about Ravenloft, how you got to that plane was a lot different than the other planes of existence. This mist would envelop you, and you'd be walking through a forest, and the mist would come up, and then the mist would go away, and next thing you know, you were in Ravenloft. Mm-hmm. And how you got to the different parts of Ravenloft was going through the mist. So that's why they call it the new monsters are Out of the Mist. It's 3 new ones. The Shadow Asp, which is basically snakes that are made of shadows. Fenhounds. I've got dogs in this issue. There are swamp dogs that hunt down the damned on the moors of Ravenloft.
Okay. Don't tell Cassidy that you've got dogs.
I won't tell them, but I thought those were pretty cool.
That is cool.
Then there's the Psionic Lich. So instead of using arcane magic to become an undead, powerful spellcaster, psionic characters with psionic mind powers could use that same kind of thing to become a powerful zombie psychic power user. It's like
that sounds creepy.
Zombie with mind powers. Ooh. Yeah. Cry Wolf is the next article. It's 3 different types of magical wolves. There's the Dread Wolf, which is an undead, like, zombie wolf. The Vampiric Wolf, which are basically blood-drinking wolves. They have vampire powers. And for a good kind of wolf, there's the Stone Wolf, which is basically guardian wolf golems, so living wolf statues. Next up, we have the Marvel File. Of course, like I've been saying with all of these reviews, a lot of the Marvel Files were deep cuts, the superheroes that nobody really knew about from the Marvel comics. And this month we have Equinox. It's a fire-based supervillain that only appeared in 3 issues of Marvel Team Up to fight against the Wasp, Yellow Jacket, and Spider-Man.
Did Equinox like always show up on the Equinox?
I don't know. It just showed up in 3 different issues. I didn't really look into it. It's because of the whole like fire powers and so. Bug to Bite something. It's tips on how to more effectively use insect monsters in games. Talking about how they have like higher strength than normal. They'll have the heightened sentences and toughness, so you can actually make bugs be more resilient, more deadly. The next up article is the Game Wizards column. Covers, which is basically written by the R&D people at TSR. And this month they're covering the AD&D trading cards from 1991. Talks about the rarities, print runs, where you can find all the different ones. And I've actually seen complete sets of these, like factory box sets, where they just printed one of each, put it in like a long box that's all decorated with artwork and trying to sell them. I have seen probably about 5 of these in the past 20 years. Every time I find one, it's either at a gaming store or an antique shop. If it's at a gaming store, that usually tells me that gaming store has been open has been in business since the 90s.
Yeah,
and
good indication.
They're always for $25. Like, that's the going price I've always seen on this thing. It was just trading cards with artwork of different magical items and monsters and NPCs throughout the game with some stat notes on them.
Uh-huh.
It was like they took basically like the blurbs and stuff from the books and just
made cards.
And just made cards out of it. And it was during that time, 91 to probably like about 10, 15 years ago is when like collectible cards that weren't part of games have actually started to actually have like a market again. So it was kind of they're like, hey, everybody's buying trading cards. Let's make trading cards. It's like, no, everybody is buying trading cards, but they're not worth it because everybody's just buying these things and putting them away. And you can find hundreds of packs of like old baseball cards from the early 90s all over the place.
So what's next?
All right, next up is Voyage of the Princess Ark Part 21. The airship continues encounters on the Savage Baronies. It's a new land of loosely organized nations. There's the errant soul monster that is a red spider with a faint silhouette of it's a red specter with a faint silhouette of a skeleton inside of it. Just more adventures going across Mysteria, showing people cool new monsters and talking about the new locations of the known world. Just a way for them to continue. They did, I'm getting ahead of myself, reading upon this, there actually is a Voyage of the Princess Ark box set that contains like almost every single one of these. All of those adventures and some other stuff added into it.
That's cool.
Blue-Eyed Thief is a Dark Sun setting short story about a thief. Again, I was never a big fan of Dark Sun. It never really gripped me. The idea of the magic users basically sucking the life force out of everything around them, and the Arabian theme to the game was like the two things I remember about Dark Sun. And I know that Rich's brother Scott like had all the Dark Sun books but we never touched any, like the Dark Sun books and the Psionic stuff. We just
didn't get into
didn't get into it. Possibilities are endless is the next one. It's alternative campaign settings for the game Torg, which is about a multiversal war that has made Earth a mashup of alternate realities. Never played Tor, but it seems like it would have been an awesome system for like a Number of the Beast RPG. Remember the Heinlein novel?
Yeah.
That I suggested for you to read? That whole jumping between different realities. So I was like, it seems like it might be something if I ever feel like doing a reality hopping game where especially Heinlein's book Job, where the character keeps waking up, falling asleep, and then waking up in a new reality.
You haven't read that one.
I know, I need to get you a copy of that to read. But no, it seems like it'd be a cool idea for a setting because it has all these different mashups of like aliens, dinosaurs, and stuff. So,
Cool.
all right. Next article is Defeat More with Less, ways to use tactics to make low-level monsters effective at higher levels. This article actually was kind of interesting reading it because I'm seeing the roots of the book, The Monsters Know What They're Doing, which is one of the actual current in-print books we've reviewed here on the channel. How do you actually take like a level 1 monster and make it be a challenge for a group of level 10 players instead of just being like, there's 100 of them. So, Bizarre the Bizarre, the column covering magical items. This month it's covering Ion Stones, which are magic gemstones that when you activate it, it hovers around the body of the person that activated it.
Are they pretty?
They are pretty. They're different. They're different floating, glowing gemstones. This covers like a bunch of different new ones. It also covers the plane of mineral beings that because that's where Ion Stones are most popular, is on the plane of minerals.
Makes sense.
So, Dragon. Yeah, no, it was the Bizarre. The Bizarre was covering the Ion Stones. The Dragon's Bestiarity, which is a column they have in here that introduces new monsters, that was what was covering up the covering all the new monsters that was in this. The two articles blended together in my head. And there's like little intelligent magic shards of different types of elements. They're just called shards, crystal shards, and they just dart around like fishes and protect like veins of Ion Stones. So if there's like a bunch of Ion Stones like buried, they'll be like
Do they attack?
People are trying to steal the Ion Stones.
They'll attack the people.
Yeah, if they're trying to steal or mine them, or doing other stuff they shouldn't be doing on the plane of minerals. Next article in the magazine, which I think is the last one. Yep, it's the last one, is the Through the Looking Glass, the column on miniatures. This month showcases some new miniatures, basically stuff that was coming out back in 1991 by old companies. Talks a bit about one of the key focuses they were talking about, that was Desert Storm based modern day military campaigns were actually starting to become part of the wargaming scene instead of being like, well, there's lots of games for Napoleonics, there's lots of games that cover World War II, World War I. Few nowadays that cover like Vietnam and bunch of that, like that era, the Korean War.
Korean, yeah.
So, but now but in '91 they actually started being like, let's do some Desert Storm minis. There were some cool modern day vehicles and units they had showed off in the magazine. So I was like, it's pretty cool, because I always think about wargaming. It's like like historical wargaming only really ever thought really went up to, for the most part, really only went up to world. It was like Napoleonics or World War II was like the two big genres they had for those games.
Okay. What are you planning to keep from these articles?
I do like the magical wolves that they have in this. A lot of the how to play monsters better stuff, the bugs, and using the weaker monsters, a lot of that stuff is covered in the Monsters Know What They're Doing, so I don't really need to keep those. But the stuff on Ion Stones, having an idea of having more sources to pull from when I want to use like magical gems, I think those are definitely the stuff I plan on keeping.
And they're pretty.
And they're pretty. So that's what I'm planning on keeping out of this.
Okay, sounds good. Those are all my questions.
And I think, yeah, anybody who's actually played the Torg RPG, Torg, leave a comment down below. Let me know how that is. Let me know if it's something I should probably look into, trying to find something, some sort of like a source book, like a core book or something like that to check out. Yeah, just let me know down below, and we'll see you next week. Peace.
Bye, everybody. Hey, everybody. Thanks for staying till the end of the episode. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Follow us on Facebook at Board Barista Productions. And if you want to support us, Patreon link at the bottom.